Hi guys, it's MIM again. I'm here on the PBE, finally getting you these mastery changes I promised you. Well, preview. So I'm just going to quickly run through what all of the masteries do, and then I'll be telling you what I think are some of the best choices of mastery to get. So in offense, you have the Summoner's Wrath, improves the summoner spells like before. Yep, no changes there. The attack speed mastery has been moved to tier 1, same with the cooldown reduction. Butcher is still where it was. The AP and AD per level have been moved to tier 2 from tier 4. And those are also the prerequisites for the penetration. And the turret damage mastery has been increased from 10 flat to 2.5 per point up to a maximum of 5. The penetration masteries have been nerfed to 8%, but I still think that it's actually better overall since the percentage is being applied before flat now. Here you have the increased damage, 3 points to a maximum of 2 as opposed to 1.5 in the old mastery set. Let's go to a carry mastery so some of them are filled out. Here we have Sunder, that's plus 2 flat armor penetration at rank 1 and plus 1.5 at the other two, total of 5. Oh, I skipped a tier. Spell Sword, this gives you damage on your basic attacks equal to 5% of your ability power. Here you have the 1.5 ability power per point, just flat, and 1.5 attack damage. This is actually a really strong mastery, the 1.5 attack damage. Here we have plus 5% critical strike damage, plus 10 for melee. So that's a nerf from the old masteries for ranged champions, but a buff, well, no, not a buff, but same for melee. And here we have an interesting mastery. Grants 10% attack speed for 2 seconds after landing a critical hit. So this is going to be really good on like AD carries, ranged AD carries, who are going to be critting a lot. Not so great on like tanky DPS or off tank who are mainly building AD. But on melee carries and ranged carries, this is going to be amazing. And here we have the updated Executioner. Increases damage dealt by 5% to targets below 50% health. I think the old one was by 6% to under 40% health. So that you get the proc sooner, but it does slightly less damage. Oh, and here we have the Archmage. Exact same as before, 1.25% extra AP each rank, to a total of 5. Now, here we have the defense tree, which is the one I'm most excited for. It's absolutely amazing. Summoner's Resolve, obviously, same as before. They've actually moved the Garrison Mastery over to here. Barrier will now actually be good because it's on Summoner's Rift, and Heal has been slightly changed, so I think it's giving passive health, and it's applying the same to allies and the caster, so it's more of a support mastery now. Here we have a sort of weird mastery. I'm sort of a little bit scared of it. It grants up to 2 plus 2 health regen for 5 seconds based on missing health. I'm reluctant to get that until I find out what the minimum health regen is, because if it's 0 to 2, depending on your missing health, so if you're at 50%, it's only 1 health regen per point, it's actually not that good of a mastery, compared to the other defense that you could get. Here you have Durability, that's plus 1.5 health per level per point. This used to be in tier 2, now it's tier 1. Here we have the old minion damage reduction mastery, and the bladed armor, the mini Rammus ball curl for junglers. Here we have the armor and magic resist. They got very slightly nerfed. The first point is still 2 armor or magic resist, but the second 2 are 1.5 to a maximum of 5 armor. These used to be tier 1. I think they moved them up just so that you couldn't go like 6 in defense, 1 in offense for that, and the 25 in utility, because that was a popular support build. Just, you have to put in a bit more work to get it. Here you have a really good mastery. Reduces the effectiveness of slows by 15%. On something like Singe Slow, which is something insane like 80%, that's like takes it down from 80 to like 78. That's a significant amount. Here we have Safeguard, reduced damage from turrets. I actually shouldn't be getting this. It's one of the worst masteries in the defensive tree, in my opinion. Although if you're going full tank, you will be tanking towers quite a lot. And then the plus 30 health at level 1, that's an amazing mastery no matter what. Just all around solid mastery. Here we have Juggernaut, which I'm really excited for. Increases your maximum health by 4%. Combined with health runes, this could make like Cho'Gath or Mundo or anyone who stacks health, it could make them really strong. Here we have Tenacious. 3 points, each is 5% reduction of crowd control. Stacks multiplicatively with Tenacity, so if you have Tenacity it's slightly less than 15% reduction, but it's still good. If you get this on, say, Aurelia, then you're not going to be CC'd ever. Here we have Unyielding and Block. They're champion damage reduction. This is one from all sources, so spells included. 2 points in that for a maximum of 2. And here's a flat 3 from basic attacks. This adds up to a total of 5 champion reduction, so on a Mumu, this is going to be amazing, because you have a total of 15 damage reduction, flat damage reduction. And that's going to be amazing on, say, an on-hit build, where all the damage is applied separately, instead of all at once. Good Hands. This used to be in the utility tree. I'm glad they moved this into defense. It was an amazing tank mastery. It's better in the defense tree. It's been moved into 1 mastery point, which is good, seeing how far up it is on the defense tree. So 1 point for 10% time dead. Yes, please. I will always be taking this if I'm going anywhere into the defense tree. Legendary Armor. Increase armor and magic resist by 5%. This is strong, especially as defensive stats are becoming slightly more expensive in the new season. Reinforced Armor. Reduces damage taken from critical strikes by 10%. Because of this mastery, Frenzy right here, I think this might actually be quite useful. And then Defender. Grants 1 armor and magic resist for each nearby enemy champion. And of course the last one, Honor Guard. Reduces damage taken from all sources by 3%. This is sort of the counterpart of this mastery, Havoc. This is a really good mastery. This is the equivalent of approximately... what? That's like 10 armor at level 1 and like 30 armor if you're a tank stacking armor and magic resist, like 200 armor. That's a really strong mastery. I would go so far as to say that it's even the best mastery out of any of these masteries on the entire mastery thing. I personally think the defense tree is a bit overpowered. I think some of these are going to have to be moved around because these tanks are just going to be so strong. As you can see, I've put 30 points in there. Well, I'll be talking about my point allocation later, but I could find space for 30 points. Here is the defense tree, the utility tree. Summoner's Insight, this is like flash, teleport. Revive has been added on here, which I think is a good thing. Although no one uses it, so it doesn't really matter. This is Wanderer, grants 2% increased movement speed when out of combat. This is going to be good on any roamers, so I feel this will be a strong mastery on ganking junglers. Just all around a good mastery. I think it's quite similar to what used to be the Initiator mastery, plus 3% when your health is above 70%. Fairly similar. Improved recall, mana regen. These are fairly similar to what they were before. The Scout. It used to be 5% increased vision range on wards. fairly useless. But now 25% for 3 seconds after placing them. This is useful because when you're checking areas, it just gives so much extra vision. I think this is going to be quite a standard mastery on supports. I don't have it here because I personally think the Mastermind and Artificer masteries are just too useful to pass up. I'm not sure about the Biscuiteer and Explorer mastery. You might want to take these out and put it into cooldown and Scout. Mastermind. This used to be the 21 slot. It now takes 3 points and it reduces the cooldown by 10% instead of 15. But still a strong mastery, especially since you can get it with only 9 points. Here is mana per level. These two things have been swapped, which I think is a good thing, since mana regen is, in my opinion, more useful than flat mana on anyone except like Rise or Cinch. Artificer reduces the cooldowns of activated items by 15%. That's amazing on supports. If you have a Randuin's and a Shurelya's and I don't know, maybe if they have a Mundo, you might have a Morella's Evil Tome or something. That's down from 60 second cooldown to a 52 second cooldown. So it may not seem like a lot, but that's 8 seconds off your cooldowns. It's the equivalent of 15% cooldown reduction on your ult. Greed. This is the same old gold mastery. Wealth is the same starting mastery, only it's been increased from 40 to 50 with 2 points. Runic Affinity, exactly the same, increased buff duration. Strength of Spirit, health regen per 5 seconds, increased by the amount of mana you have. Same as before, but a lot lower down on the tree. Biscuiteer. This gives you an item, a miniature health and mana potion called the Total Biscuit of Restoration. If you guys don't know, this is a reference to the famous YouTuber Total Biscuit, or the Cynical Brit. I'll try and post a link to his channel in the description if you want to see it. Better than my stuff, for sure. And then the preceding mastery, Explorer, you get a ward to start with that lasts for 60 seconds. So that's really useful on a support. You could maybe get I don't know, you could even start something like Regrowth, or whatever it's called now, or Regrowth and Mana Thing, to go for a fast Philosopher's Stone, and you would have a ward. You wouldn't even have to buy it. Combined with this mastery, I think this is going to be very useful. Whereas before, an extra 40 gold wasn't all that helpful. Now this is just going to give you so much extra items. Although I'm not sure how great this will be, you might want to take these 2 points out, put it in cooldown and the ward mastery. Here we have Awareness, the experience buff. This is actually one of the least good, in my opinion, the least good masteries in the utility tree. I'm not 100% sure though. I just find it doesn't help altogether that much. Here's Vampirism, increased lifesteal and spell vamp, combined from the old offense and utility mastery. This is a really good mastery, although not quite so good on support, since you're not going to be dealing a ton of damage. Pickpocket grants 5 gold for melee champions and 3 gold for ranged champions when you perform a basic attack against an enemy champion. 5-second cooldown. This is the support mastery for Season 3. It's amazing. If you are a ranged champion, you will be constantly harassing them with auto attacks because it's getting you free gold. It's just going to change the entire bot lane dynamic by so much. It's going to make it more aggressive and everything. I think this was a brilliant play by them. It's a way for them to make up for the loss of Heart of Gold, and it's going to make bot lane more interesting to play in. Here, same old cooldown reduction mastery, 2% per point, up to 6%. And the last one is Nimble, grants 3% increased move speed. That's the equivalent of 2 boost speed coins, so that's a fairly good mastery. Yeah, that's the equivalent of 1 point in here. So, in Juggernaut, if you're going by quintessences. And now on to like what I think are going to be the pages, the commonly used pages. Right now, I think the defense tree is just so good. I might be biased because I main tanks, but this defense tree looks so amazing that I think most tanks are going to be going more than 21 into defense. I think it's going to be like either 0-30-0, as you can see. If you're in lane, ignoring the champion damage reduction. If you're in, if you're in jungle, ignoring champion damage reduction. In lane, ignoring minion damage reduction. It just looks so amazing. All the masteries from like here on are amazing. You could leave out on these two if you wanted early on, but you need them just to advance onwards. But these onwards, amazing masteries. I would not really, the only thing I would substitute would be maybe this one and this one for these points right here for increased move speed early on when you're ganking. It's just such a good tree. I think that once it gets a couple nerfs, if it gets a couple nerfs, then people are gonna experiment with throwing maybe 4 points in here for one of these two, 4 points in here, but I don't think you're going to be going much lower than 24 or 25 in defense if you're a tank. Here is 921 support, just basic early survivability masteries for support, health, armor, magic resist. I put 1 point in magic resist because the first point is 2 as opposed to 1.5, so it's more valuable than the last point in hardiness. Also, this thing passively increases health by 5% 5 per level. That's like almost as good as 4 mastery points in here, just if you take heal. And heal's going to be more better on supports than AD carries now because it heals for an equal amount to everyone. So I think that's going to be a good spell. If you're not getting that, I would say take a couple points out in here, or just take it all out of defense and go 9-0-21 and get exhaust or whatever and get cooldown reduction and AP. But the support masteries, these in utility, are not changing that much. Speed and flash, because I don't really have a better point to put it in. I don't find 1 mana regen per 5 all that useful. Cooldown on summoner spells, amazing, especially when combined with this. 15 seconds off of flash. Artificer, amazing if you're going Shirelia's Locket of the Iron Solari or Randuin's or something like that. Although I suppose Randuin's will be less common since Heart of Gold is being removed. This mastery might also be good, like I said. Gold, starting items, that's always good. Pickpocket, like I said, amazing mastery. Cooldown, very, very solid on a support. That means more heals faster. Although it will put increased mana strain. I like the new Chalice upgrade that heals and is a targeted cleanse. That's something that I've been saying they should put in for a while. A targeted cleanse so that a support can get this item. They get increased mana regen so they can be more supportive and they can get their carry out of CC. And then of course the 21st mastery, the movement speed, just a little faster. When you're out of combat, that'll be up to 5% move speed, so for Alistair, who's quite slow, that's very nice. But it's not an essential mastery, but it's very good cost value, and you're going that far into the tree anyways, so you might as well get it. Here's AD carry masteries. This, I assume you're getting Ignite. You might not be. Then just put a 4th mark in here. 80 per level, attack speed, percentage armor pen, damage increase, base damage, critical strike, armor penetration, and executioner. Could also, and of course, just basic survivability masteries in defense, very similar to the support. 2909. This is increased speed, increased recall, better cooldown on summoner spells. That's really nice because it gets you a lower cooldown on ignite. And the buffs. I think this is better for, say, Ezreal, who's going to want that blue or red buff a lot more. Also, if you're like very mana hungry, you could take the points out of Wanderer and into Meditation for mana regen. 2190 AP carry. Ignite again, 3 in cooldown. AP per level, magic pen, damage increase, flat AP, and spell sword. This is not always the mastery you want on, say, Vigar. He's a burst caster, or LeBlanc. You're not going to be attacking much, so you could just put an extra 1.5 ability power, maybe. But I think this is actually quite a good mastery. So on anyone that's going to, like, DPS, like Karthus or Ahri or Ryze would be amazing with this. It's only 1.5 ability power, and this is 5% of your ability power on all your basic attacks. This is also going to be amazing on, say, Teemo or Kog'Maw, or basically any on-hit builds. Of course, 5% extra ability power, and Executioner. Again, basic survivability masteries. Magic resist, because you're most likely going to be against an AP in mid. Same masteries in here. Only difference is increased mana regen, 1 point in speed, 1 point in flash, 3 in summoner spell, and that is for the extra blue. I suppose I decided that the speed was worth more than the recall on the AP carry. And then 921 AP carry, 9021 AP carry. This is actually quite good. Gives you 4 cooldown reduction here, plus 6 here. That's a total of 10. So this is quite good on, I don't know, it might be good on Ryze. I think he gets 10 passive from his Q, and he could get 20 from a Frozen Heart if he's building like the off-tanky DPS Ryze thingy. Increased ability power and magic pen, of course. That would give him max cooldown reduction, by the way. Flash, move speed, regen, solid masteries. Reduced cooldown. Artificer, if you're getting any like active items like DFG, you don't have to get that. If you don't want it, you might go for the awareness to get that level 6 faster and possibly get a first blood or something. Blue buff, of course, that's very useful. This for the spell vamp. You could also put these into awareness as well. Pickpocket. It's, in my opinion, it's better than this 21st mastery. And especially on AP carries. That's just, if you have nothing if you can't last hit anything, there's nothing to last hit, just attack the enemy and you get a free 3 gold. Not as good as on a support, because AP carries will be farming and will have decent gold income, but still decent. And it's only 1 point, so you might as well take it. Cooldown reduction and speed. This is for like a like I said, a DPS caster. It'll make them really fast and good cooldown and spell vamp. I think this is significantly more viable than it was last season. Then here I just have a blank mastery page that I could play around with. I've got AD carry, AP carry, tanks, lane, and I should show you something that might be used for off tanks. Unfortunately, like, you're gonna be wanting to get for like bruisers and stuff. You want 9 in offense for the AD and armor pen. You don't necessarily want too much attack speed, but it's okay. It's only 3 wasted points. And so 9 in offense for sure. 9 in defense for sure. Now here you have a choice depending on like whether you're going more offensive or defensive. First, Offense, just some extra 80 damage. Since you're sort of a bruiser, I would say, unless you're building critical strike, like on Tryndamere or someone, lethality is less important, so you might go for the destruction, the turret damage, the armor pen. Oh, I need one more. Let's put it into that attack speed. And finally the executioner. If you instead decide to, if you're an off tank, or just decide you want extra defense, you put that 9 in. You get the unyielding for damage reduction, the slow reduction, more damage. Wait, oh shit. I was building according to my 0-30-0. I'm honestly not sure which one is worth cutting out on. This one is just so good. The point in that, Juggernaut is just so good, I don't think I can pass up on that. So is this one. Actually, no. I think it would be better to put that into the Tenacious rather than the Legendary Armor. But whatever. That's my opinion on the Season 3 Masteries so far. Just what I think of them. Yeah, there's also been some new items added. And if I can get onto the PBE at all tomorrow, I will try and bring you some previews of the new items and just generally what's going to be coming out for Season 3. Thanks for watching. Signing out.